Thank you for joining us and welcome to this edition of The Overtime, Northern Arizona's only sports show. I'm your host, Jacob Terrill, and I am joined here by Joseph Grono. How's it going? Ready to talk sports?
Of course I'm ready to talk sports, Jake. Let's do this.
First topic of the night, Flagstaff boys baseball. They took the field for the first time this season against Corona del Sol. The Eagles lost with a final score of 8-0. Joseph, what do you think about the game and how the Eagles performed against the Aztecs?
Well, Jacob, the Eagles did not get off to a good start on Wednesday. They could not round the bases against the Aztecs as they left 11 runners on base. Corona del Sol is a well-known powerhouse in the state, though. They were 6A runners-up last season, and they have 11 returning seniors who are ready to avenge the loss in the state championship. With that being said, the Eagles are stacked with 8 returners this season, too, so they have high hopes of having a good year. Last year, they ended with a 12-14 record, and returning senior Luke Canizales led the team in hits and runs with a total of 23 and 30. He's certainly hoping to up those numbers from last year with his last year with the team. Flag High's head coach Mike Dobosh says they've had great training so far.
We have not had an indoor practice yet, which, here in Flagstaff doesn't happen in the springtime very often. If we can call it spring, it's still winter, I guess. But so that's been great. Being out on the new field's been great. We don't have to worry about whether the field's too wet, muddy or anything like that. We can come out and get a good practice in.
Let's hope the Eagles have an exciting season. Next topic of the night we have is flag softball. The team started their season against Marcos Deniza, who won with a final score of 16-0. They definitely called mercy rule for this game. Joseph, what can you tell us about the Eagles team?
So Jake, last year the Eagles' overall record was 15-14, and they lost a total of 7 seniors. However, they do not want this loss of leadership to hinder their amount of wins this season. Second-year head coach Ray Hernandez is looking to keep a winning record alive, and with these notable returners, it shouldn't be too difficult. These players are Shea Wilson, she's a senior who had 23 hits, 21 runs, and 20 RBIs. Another notable player last year for the Eagles was Andy Elliott, a sophomore who led the team in runs last year with 33.
In the past, I've heard some different attitudes. Well, this year, they're all hanging in together and doing a lot of things with each other, so I think the attitude is going to bring us up to play good ball.
Good luck to the Eagles as they hit the road for their next game to take on Buckeye High School on March 3rd at 6 p.m. Moving across town to Coconino, the Panthers started their tournament games at Sunset Park in Sedona this morning. What do we know about this year's team, Joseph, and who are some of the key players?
So a few players that have had a huge impact on the last couple of seasons are Maddie Klaus and Brooklyn Wong, both middle infielders who have already had 3 years of experience. With a tough schedule ahead, it'll be hard to match their outstanding record from last year, but they seem up to the challenge, with returning star Madeline Klaus, who is looking to lead the team again in runs. She also led the other returners in RBIs last year. Another great returner is senior shortstop Brooklyn Wong, who is known for her speed around the diamond. Wong had a 98% success rate on the stolen bases. Let's hope there's no sign of her slowing down this season. And Coach Kimberly Dennis says that she's excited to see this new varsity class come together and dominate this season.
Every season brings a new group of girls. I don't care how many returners you have. It's just a new group of girls that are trying to mesh together as a team. And to me as a coach, that's super exciting, just to try to figure out for this year how to get 13 girls to mesh together to play for Coconino and not themselves.
Well, good luck to Coconino Panthers as they start their season in the Wrangler Softball Classic. Lastly, we have Coconino's baseball team. They have started the season with a tournament as well, taking on La Jolla Community, Mountain Ridge, and Verado. Joe, how do we see the Panthers doing against these 3 different squads?
Well, the Panthers might have to start out strong. They're a really young team, and they could really show their talents during this tournament. Last season, they lost against Verado, so maybe this will be their revenge game. But besides all that, this team is really looking forward to the season, especially head coach Daniel Vandervalk. He says that there are 2 games that Coco is really looking forward to.
We have a game that we get to play inside of Chase Field against Desert Edge, so that's always exciting for these kids, getting to play on the big league field. And then anytime we can go get into the state playoffs this year, we're ready for that too.
Stay tuned for some great baseball. They have some good returners coming back, and the Panthers' next matchup is at 4 p.m. March 3rd at Thunderbird High School. Coming up, we wrap our preview with the winter sports with flag girls soccer winning the 4A state championship and a spotlight on NAU's forward Brooks DeBishop. Stay tuned after the break.